Morning, everybody.
Morning.
I want to thank Carl for this opportunity to come here and speak to you on fitness, and also the Gallantry organization, which is an outstanding organization, because I remember when I retired, we didn't have organizations such as the Gallantry. I retired back in 2002. And before I get into the fitness portion, I got to give you a journey. Everything we starts with a beginning. So I'm going to start the beginning on how this fitness became very important in my life. After I retired, I thought I was on top of the world. I accomplished everything I could possibly accomplish at that moment, had that time, had opportunity to serve with some extraordinary people, do some extraordinary events, but it's still that void was still left out, because when I retired, the war was just, starting up. I remember I was briefing General Hendricks at FORCECOM when the first plane hit the towers, 9/11, I was briefing them. And then the tower, then that day forward, life changed. And so I didn't have an opportunity to serve a lot into the GWAT, Afghanistan and Iraq, because my career, it's just all about timing. But I thank the Lord that I had an opportunity to serve at the time I did, and see some people do some extraordinary things, had opportunity to mentor young men and young ladies that went on to do some extraordinary things. I remember I retired. I was married, on top of the world, and before that I was real active in fitness, very active in fitness. I was in bodybuilding, I was very, into sports, wrestling, martial arts, so I was very active in my life. But when I got married, top of the world, I was married for 10 years. I had a daughter, was born, my youngest daughter. I have 3 kids. I was married 3 times, unfortunately, things didn't work out, but my last marriage, I thought I was on top of the world. Very active. But then, when I was married, I stopped. It was a lifestyle change, especially when you retire, you get out of the military. It's a lifestyle change. So you're not as active. So I was preparing myself mentally for retirement. They say that the first year is normally the hardest. It's a roller coaster ride. Because when I came in, I was at 18 years old, I was just a kid. And so all I knew was the military, as from a kid. And so then I became an adult. And so now I was on my own, basically, so I didn't have the support group. And so I was real active in the church, became a church minister, a children's church minister, one of the hardest jobs I ever had to do. And so, on top of the world, stopped working out, I didn't work out, I didn't even go to the gym for almost 10 years. I was married for 10 years, unfortunately, the marriage ended. And the day of reckoning came when I was at that dining room table with my family. My wife said, we got to part ways. And when you're inside that house, I was in the house by myself, family torn apart. That was one of the darkest days of my life. The darkest days of my life. One day on top of the world, the next day at the bottom of the world. My weight ballooned up to 240. I got to 240 pounds. My cholesterol was off the charts. My blood pressure was 160 over 130. And so it was a walking heart attack. Here I am at the age of 49, just a walking heart attack. And I was so depressed. And you go into those dark moments. You never know what a person go through until you walk a mile in their shoes. I was at that dark moment in my life. You sit at that dining room table in this house all by yourself. A house that once filled with a lot of joy and happiness. And right there, the darkest moment of my life. And so when I hear about our veterans taking their lives, when you're at that moment, in that dark moment, it's a spooky place to be. And so I said I had to take a vacation, because my whole world just fell apart, my whole world crumbled right in front of me. So I took a vacation, I went home down to Florida, and I saw one of my rangers that I mentored, that was his platoon sergeant. He was very successful in the fitness business, and he saw me and said, damn, Max, what the hell happened to you? He said, I'm not used to seeing you like this. And a week before I went down there, I went to get a physical. And when I saw my meds, I knew I was a walking heart attack. I was waiting to die. I was one step from death. One step from death. And so I'm sitting there with my buddy. He said, man, you look a mess. He said, what happened? I said, man, my whole life just fell apart. He said, I'll tell you what. If you get yourself in shape, we'll put you in our advertisement. And so I needed a spark. I needed something to motivate me, to get me going. I said, you know what? I'll do it. He said, I'm not going to give it to you. You have to earn it. I said, this is what I want to do. So I went home. And then when I went home, I went to the mailbox. I saw the letter from the doctor. I opened it up. It had in red, cholesterol 300. 300. And I read that letter. And I said, you know what? I have so much to live for. I have a young daughter. And I said, I have so much to live for. And so you can't change. One thing about the past, you can't change the past. Whatever you can do, you can't change the past. But you always had that silent voice coming up, well, you did this, you did that, did this. If you would have done this, this wouldn't happen. So you're always fighting that battle with yourself. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to make a change. And so when you make a change in your life, you know, it's the first step. They said a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do a transition. I'm going to go from this point in my life, I'm going to start all over. I had this green book right here. And I had this book ever since 1985. And it's my book of inspiration. I always write down quotes. I write down things. Because, when I look, if you don't have a vision, something to work towards, you're just really wasting your time. So I opened up this book. I started reading these things, right? I said, wow. I had to motivate myself. I had to want to change. I had to force a change. So we're our own worst critic. So I got in the mirror, I looked in that mirror, and I said to myself, what the hell happened? My waist was 40 inches out there. I couldn't even see my toes. I said, damn, what happened? What happened? So I wrote everything down I hated about myself. And I had to be frank and brutal. I was brutal on myself. I said, you're fat, look at you, sorry. I wrote all this stuff down, everything I didn't like. I took pictures, everything I didn't like about myself. I read it. And I said, I'm going to make a change. I put those pictures up. I had to see those pictures every day, how I looked. And I got that letter, everything I wrote down, I talked to myself, and I burned it up. But I said, once I burn this up, I'm never going to remember it again. Then my journey started. I went forth, and I went and saw the doctor. She said, Mr. Mullen, you got to lose some weight. I said, well, what are the consequences? She said, you can have a heart attack or a stroke any second. And I said, what are my options? She said, well, we want to put you on cholesterol medicine. I said, if I get on cholesterol medicine, how long have you? I said, once you get on cholesterol medication, you're going to stay on it. I said, no, I want to do it my way. I want to do it my way. So I went forth, and I busted my tail. I wrote down every goal. I said exactly what I wanted to look like. I wrote down my goals, because if you don't write your goals down, if you don't have something, a start point and a finish point, a midway point, basically just spinning your wheels. And I worked so hard. For the first 3 weeks, it's probably the hardest, right? Because your body's going through the change. So you know what? I said I had to treat my body as though I'm fighting an insurgency. So I put on that ranger mentality. See, because the body doesn't like to be discomfort. It doesn't like being, you want to stay in that comfort zone. So I had to push that comfort zone. So you may reach a goal, and all of a sudden, you're not making progress. So you have to go ahead and tweak it a little bit, right? You have to counter it. It's like an insurgency. The insurgents to make a bomb, you get better armor to make a bigger bomb. So it's always a war with your body. It's a war with your body. So my first 6 weeks, I dropped 10 pounds. 10 pounds of body fat. And I busted my tail. I set my goals. And so you have to make time. There was times I did not even want to go and work out. I wanted to stay in bed, but I said, you know what? Open that book up and I read it. I said, man, I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. And so at the 8-week point, I went to see the doctor. He said, oh, Mr. Mullen, you're losing weight too fast. You need to slow it. I said, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it my way. But you're losing weight too fast. I said, I got this. And so then I took my midway pictures. And so it'd be days I started making progress, started losing the body weight, and all of a sudden I hit that wall. It's easy to give up. It's easy to give up. So what I did, I said, you know what? I had to reset, revert, and keep going. Tweak my diet a little bit, tweak it hard. And I tell people, I said, one thing about it, it's not easy. It's no magical cure. You got to really want it. You got to fight hard for it. You got to want that goal. You got to stay the course. So at the 8-week point, I took the big pictures. By the way, dropped some more. Then clothes weren't fitting anymore. Clothes weren't fitting anymore. And so then I gave my buddy a call. I said, hey, I'm ready to come down. So I drove all the way down at the 16-week point. I drove all the way down to Oviedo, Florida. Knocked on the door, went to his office, said, show me what you got. I took my shirt out. He said, what the hell? Then he called the vice president and said, damn, you got to see this. The first word out their mouth is, what type of steroids you taking? I said, I'm clean. He said, are you taking any gear? I was 55 I just turned 50. I said, I'm clean. He said, are you sure? He said, will you take the blood? I said, you take blood, lie detector test, whatever, I'm clean. He said, if he said he's clean, he's clean. He said, we never seen anything like this. My weight went from 240 to 210. My body fat percentage went from 35% down to 10%. I was in the best shape of my life, but you know what? I had to work hard for it. And he said, you know what? They signed me to a 1-year contract, and I appeared in a magazine ad. And people see that picture, they said, it had to be photoshopped, it's fake. I said, no, I worked hard. I worked hard to get in that condition. Very hard. And so, as you get older, your body changes. So, everything that I do, I have to make a risk assessment. It's hard when you go to the reunion, you see your buddies, you see your friends pass away. I thought about my daughter, I thought about my Ranger buddies. I said, I won't be here to see my daughter get married, I want to be here to see my grandchildren grow up. I said, so I had to get out of me, out of self, and get back. And so I made it my goal in fitness. I made it my goal to help people. I go to the gym, and everybody makes these New Year's resolutions. Well, this year I'm going to lose this. So the gym industry makes so much money the first year. The first 8 weeks, people are there. But how many stay the course? How many stay the course? Very few. And so when I go to the gym, I never make fun of nobody. Times pass, I used to make, look at that, wasting their time. I never make fun of nobody because you never know what a person's going through unless you walk them out in their shoes. And so that person they're laughing at, I will go over there and give fitness advice. I help them out. But you can open a door, but it's up to that person to step through that door. You give all encouragement, but it's up to that person to step through that door and make that first step. Remember the first step is the first step of the journey of 1,000 miles. You got to make that first step. So now fitness, before it used to be to impress the ladies that look good, stuff like that. Now it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. You got to make fitness a part of your lifestyle. I work where I work at. It's a 2.5-hour drive one way to work. 2.5 hours one way. So I'm spending 5 hours on the road and travel alone in one day. And so when I go to the gym, I have to make every second count, every minute count. When I go in there with a mission. I keep my workouts short and intense. So my workouts start night before. That's when my workout. So I'm seeing myself, I visualize my workout, what I'm gonna do. I know exactly what machine. If that machine being occupied, I know I'll go this right there. I always have a plan when I step foot in that gym. And so once I get up in my car and I step in that gym, it's war. That 1 hour block is war. I'm going to war with my body. Right? Everybody in there, taking selfies and things like that, just wasting your machines. I put my earbuds in and they know not to talk to me. It's nothing personal, but I have a mission. I can't have nobody to tear. So I'll go in there and do a workout. I do a complete workout. That person's still on the first machine and still using up the weights. I'm already out the gym. And they say, man, how are you doing so fast? I said, look, I come in there. I don't go in there to play. I'll go in there to get my workout in and get out because I have this small block. First thing I do, the most important weapon I have when I go into the gym is my stopwatch. I look at the clock when I go in the gym. My workouts last 1 hour. 1 hour. And that 1 hour block, I put 110% in every exercise. 110%. I don't leave that gym. Once I hit that 1 hour mark, I stop right there. I stop. because it's time to go. And so when you set that bar, you set that standard high, you got to maintain that standard. So how can I tell somebody how to do something if I don't maintain that same standard? I remember one lady, I was working with her, she said, can you give me some fitness tips? I said, yeah, I'm working with a personal trainer. I said, you got a trainer? I said, yeah. I said, you know what you need to do? She said, what? I said, you need to fire him. If you've been working with this guy this long, you still look like that, you need to fire the guy. He said, why? I said, what is it? He's a bodybuilder. Just because of the bodybuilder doesn't make it like he's going to be a good trainer. You're wasting his money. You're wasting your money. You're nothing but he's nothing but a psychologist to you. You know that ching, 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 ching sign right here. I said, you got to invest in yourself. They have so much stuff out there now, as far as fitness, nutrition. From when I started out, back in the days, competing back in the days, fitness, nutrition, workout, the equipment, it's so much better. And so the information's out there. You got to go out there and seek the information. You got to go out there and seek it. And so I tell people, I said, there's no easy journey. You gotta work hard for it. You gotta break that sweat. And when I set a goal for myself, I let nothing stand in the way of my goal. Nothing. And if I can do it, I'm 63 years old right now, in one of the best shapes of my life, 63 years old. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I want to encourage you. Set your fitness goals now. Set your fitness goals today. You get your plan, you make it happen, you stick the course, you stay the course, and you will get the victory. Thank you.
Hey, Max, hang on up there just a second. You said something in your talk about motivation to work out, and you mentioned your daughter, if I remember right.
Yes.
And what was it about your daughter that you said?
Yeah, she was, I wanted to be around to see my daughter get married, in which she got married. And I wanted to be around to see my grandkids. My son, I have 2 grandkids, my son. And so I wanted to be around for them. I wanted to be around for them. I want to see my legacy go forth. I want to set the example for them.
I wonder if you had a picture in your mind of what that wedding might look like. Did you ever pull that up?
Well, I visualized what the wedding to be like. And she had a court wedding. But you know what? He's a good guy, good young man. I grilled him hard, I put him in a high. So he passed the Mad Max test. So he's a good man. And, there's a scripture saying, you train up a child in the way they should go, for when they get older, they will not depart from their ways. And so I installed that into my daughter. So.
One of the things that you said that was so important there was you had that image of what it was. And even though it didn't turn out what the image was in your head, that image gave you the motivation to make the changes that you needed to get to.
Absolutely. Real quick, I visualize what I want to look like. I visualize everything in my mind.
I was going to compare abs with you, but I don't know.
Visualize everything in my mind. You gotta have a goal. You gotta set a goal, and you gotta set that mission. You gotta stick the course. You gotta stay the course. It's days I didn't feel like working out. It was days I didn't want to get out, and I got up there. I said, I gotta go work out. I don't care what time it is. I gotta go out there and get my workout in. And so you got a choice. You got a choice, and everything starts with that.
I talked to a veteran several months ago that life had taken the biggest dump on him possible.
Yes.
And some of it's his fault, some of it was not his fault, but it all combined to put him in a trailer without power, separated from his kids, and he was thinking about ending it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I asked him to do was, his youngest was about 2 years old, and I said, think forward 20 years.
Yes.
What's going to happen? Are they going to get married? Are they going to go to college? Yeah, I'd like to think he's going to go to college. Well, do you want to be there at the graduation? Yeah, I think I'd like to be there at the graduation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your son stops while he's walking across the stage to get his diploma, looks out in the audience and sees Dad. What does he see?
He sees success.
Yeah, so you got 20 years to be that person that your kid is going to see, right? That vision is
we got
absolutely...
that short window of life, that short window of opportunity to make things happen. And as you get older, it closes, right? The best days of my life are still ahead. The best days of my life. And one thing I never hold, I learned not to hold grudges, right? because you never know. You may see a person, you never had the opportunity to say goodbye to that person. That's how no grudges whatsoever. And every time I see one of my Ranger buddies, I sincerely love them from my heart. I'm glad to see them. Because you never know the last time you may not see them. So when I say I love you, when I embrace you, it's from the heart. It's from the heart. Like Sergeant Birch, I've known this man for so long. But every time I see him, my heart jumps with joy. Boone Cutler, I've known this man for 10 years. This is the first time we met in 10 years. I've never seen him before. This is the first time we met in person. And when we hugged each other, it's all known for years. That's why life is so short. When Carl asked me to come and speak, I jumped, just do it. Just do it. You know, because life is so short, you never know what tomorrow holds. And when I go to these reunions and stuff and see what happened to so-and-so, he passed away, what happened to so-and-so, he was injured, you know, you never had a chance to say goodbye. So I never hold no grudges, nothing. And so if anybody have any advice, wanted some advice on fitness, I'd be more than happy to share it with you. Be more than happy to share it. So
CSM Birch told me the other night that he put you through it. And I said, are we going to have a problem? And so I'm glad to know that you don't hold that. I'm a little worried about that. You know, I left my phone back there. I was going to show everybody. He has an action figure of himself. Yeah. Have you ever met anybody that has an action figure of himself? That's not. Come see me after. I'll show you the action figure. We've got, you know, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. If anybody wants to ask any questions or if you have anything else that you want to talk about. 5 minutes.
Any questions?
I got one, Max. Transitioning from military to civilian world, how hard was it to change? I mean, you just keep the same mentality, but learning to train like a civilian, how was that different? I mean, you weren't out doing 20-mile road marches and stuff, so that stuff changes over time.
Right.
But how hard was it to make that change? Because I see a lot of warfighters that get off active duty and they think that if they're not doing that same military type of PT, then they're not doing PT. But you maintaining that every day, it's just not realistic. It's not realistic. So can you just talk a little bit about mentally and also it's not just mindset, but from an educational perspective, how should one change from being in the military to learning how to train like a civilian?
The hardest hurdle is that transition from the military to the civilian. It's a transition. And when you're serving in the Rangers or any elite forces, it's bam, 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 hard, hard, hard. It's mission, 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 and your body goes through so much abuse. Your body gets beat up. But you have to learn to make that switch. You have to train smarter. Yeah, I'm going to the gym. I see these young guys and stuff. Hey, Max, yeah, I know I can do it, but I do a mental risk assessment. First thing I said, yes, I can do it. Then I said, is it worth the risk of getting injured? Because I know if I get injured, it's going to take me a lot more longer to heal up. And I said, and so the risk assessment, is it really worth it? Nah, I'll pass. Because you always want to save yourself to fight another day. And as far as getting injured, yeah, I still get injuries, little minor injuries, but I learned to, train around the injury. I don't let that injury, people get injured, say, I'm not going back. I train around that injury, I start doing cardio, I start doing whatever, but I don't ever stop training. The mission never stops. But Bill said, that transition is different. So you got to just tweak the mentality, still keep that warrior mindset, but use a little bit more common sense. You got to use a little more common sense. So many have CrossFit out there, you have bodybuilding, you have fitness, whatever engineer you want to get into, right? You find something as long as you're doing something. Set your goals, set a goal, say, my goal is to do this 5K, my goal is to do this, my goal is to 50. You write that stuff down. You don't write it down, poof, it's going to be gone. Because we got that short-term memory. I remember the first time I met Sergeant Major Birch, I thought it was a really good run. He said, you want to go over the run with me? I said, yeah, let's do it. Big mistake. Big mistake. He said, what's wrong? I said, I'm okay. And we're way out there in the middle of the woods up there, Washington. Said, where are we? Just keep running. He's a beast. He's a beast. But I learned from him. Be careful what you wish for. Anybody have any other questions on fitness?
I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for I just turned 66, and I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life because I've always trained, even since a little boy.
Right.
So right now, today I can't wait to get on my 10-speed bike, right? And what you're saying is the absolute truth. You have to stay active, sweat every day, do something every day, at least an hour a day. So I believe it.
My dad was 87 years old, right, when he passed away. He'd be out there cutting the lawn. Dad, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Let him do that. Let him stay active. Let that man do what he got to do. Because once you stop, and another thing too, people try to put these age barriers on you. I get that stuff from ARP. I look at throw it away. I'm serious. I throw it away. Because I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm not even going to put it in my mind. I'm not even entertaining it. I rip it up. So they don't tell me, well, you need to start doing, dude, shut up. Okay, I got this. So you got to keep that warrior mindset. But I'm happy that you still maintain that fitness. Absolutely.
Got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How do you reconcile your 25-year-old mind with your 63-year-old body? Because in 63 years, with all the things that you've done, you've racked up some pretty serious, I'm assuming we're similar.
Yes.
You've racked up some injuries and some, your 63-year-old body, 25-year-old mind. How do you reconcile those?
There's no difference. See, the body doesn't know, doesn't know the difference what the mind tells it. The body's going to do what the mind tells it to do, right? And so, for instance, when you're working out, pushing past the pain barrier, I feel that pain, a lot of people quit, right? So I don't stop there. I want to go past that pain barrier because that's where you're going to get the muscle stimulation. Oh, that hurts. Now I want to go past that. And so you want to keep that same mental mindset, just adjust it a little bit, but listen to your body. Because remember, the body only knows what the mind tells it. And so a person go out there doing 400 pounds, I may cut the weight down a little bit lower, but I may go for a high rep range. I go for the tension, these little techniques and stuff like that. The muscle don't know. They can't tell the difference between 400 pounds and 200 pounds. So, you just got to know your body. Be able to come in with your body.
Max, thank you again for being here.